What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special week of the Player 3 podcast. It's E3 2016. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be offering and providing some 20 to 30-minute reactions to each and every press conference. It's Monday morning. You and I had a chance to watch EA and Bethesda's. We're going to talk about those this morning. Then what we're going to do is we're going to break these out for individual shows over on YouTube. We're going to smash them all together. Smush them all together. Send them out over to you on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. Just search Player 3 Podcast over there if you want to hear all of our reactions in one just congealed heap. So I am your host, Luke Croft, and alongside me I have the always visually stunning Larry Hunt.
Hi.
Larry.
I'm going to hold my mic too.
All right, awesome. Let's get that boom staying out of there. We're in a little different locale here. We're sitting on the couch.
I don't know how to podcast from a couch.
You know, this is a little odd, a little weird. But let's jump right into it. We had a chance to watch EA's press conference. Now, it's a little odd because EA, this isn't technically an E3 presentation. It's during E3, but they did their EA Plays thing. I'm going to turn into you as well. Conversational tone here. Now, Larry, does it help if I hold your armpit like this?
You know it does. It does.
All right, so I'll leave my hand here for the remainder. It's actually quite clammy.
It's going to get sweaty. It started already.
Well, my hand's already very sweaty. So, but we had a chance to watch EA's E3 Play. Let's just quick initial reaction to the show as a whole.
I got it. Here's my reaction.
All right, so a big old yawn. I tend to agree with you. I feel like EA's was a little underwhelming, I guess is a good word to use for it. Let me just give a quick rundown of the stuff that they revealed. We got a Titanfall 2 trailer, and we'll talk in detail about some of these things. Got a Titanfall 2 trailer. Then they started talking about eSports and these 3 tiers of eSports that they're going to focus on in their sports games. Challenger mode, which is going to be like an online kind of deal. Premier mode, which is going to be like local events. And then EA Major, which is going to be like these kind of global events for the best Madden FIFA players in the world, stuff like that. We got to see a little bit of Mass Effect Andromeda, but I still don't feel like we saw a whole lot of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
We saw FIFA 17. They talked about EA Originals. We got another Swedish dude coming up on stage. They're like, hey, we need as much awkwardness as possible on this stage here. But they split the awkwardness over 2 stages, one in America and one in London. And then they finished out the show with Battlefield 1. The thing I want to point out, just going through the rundown, is all of those things are things we knew existed.
Yeah.
You know, like we knew everything but Fee, the EA original game. But every other game that we saw, like there wasn't anything that was like, holy crap, they're doing that.
And it's not even, with the exception of some of the things we got in the Titanfall trailer, there wasn't anything. We didn't get any new information really about any of the games.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, I didn't even put Star Wars in my rundown because we didn't learn anything. Like, let's start there. Let's start with what we wanted to see but what we didn't see. So, and we'll also look at the scorecard because I think one of us talked about how Visceral would show off their EA game. I think that may have been, was it you or was it Diz?
It was me.
It was you.
I was so pumped for that. I was so excited. My prediction was that no one would care about Battlefront because Visceral was going to steal the stage with their game. But we're not going to care about either game, apparently.
Yeah. So do you want to give us a quick little rundown of what they did with Star Wars?
Here's a guy drawing some art. Here's some droids. Did you know that we make art for our games? Hey, Star Wars Battlefront, we're going to do what you, the viewer, wanted. We're going to add content from the new movies, which we were already going to do because...
Well, did they not say a Battlefront 2? Like it's going to be another Star Wars Battlefront game?
I thought it was just an expansion. Did I misunderstand?
The way she made it sound was next year we will have another Star Wars Battlefront for you. That's the way it came across to me. And then she moved on to in 2018 you're going to have Viscerals, and then further down the line you're going to have Respawns.
Yeah.
But see, just it was just a poorly communicated little chunk of 5 minutes, and it was one of those where I'd learned nothing. I knew nothing more after it was over than I did going into it. Yeah. And for the people that were there, I'm sure they felt the same way. You know, like, okay, we knew Visceral was working on a Star Wars game. We knew Respawn was working on a Star Wars game. We knew another Battlefront was going to come down the line. And we know that this mobile game that's existed for a year exists. And we know that Knights of the Old Republic has existed forever and ever and ever as well. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Nothing new. The mobile game, we're going to continue to add characters. They add characters all the time. I play that game. It's like my one mobile game that I like. Mm-hmm. That's not new to me. Amy Hennig's working on the story. Okay, yes, this is the big news you broke quite a while back. Yeah. Here's some guys drawing some storyboards. Okay, you're still working on it. Got it.
It's like you own this franchise that almost earned $1 billion. Like the Force Awakens almost earned $1 billion in its time in theaters. Like, you own that property. You don't own the property, but you have license to that property, and you're not going to use the one time in the year where all eyes are on you to just kind of blow everything out of the water and say, this is what we're doing with Star Wars stuff. And it really just it left me feeling like they don't really have much. Like,
yeah. That Visceral game is not far along at all. It seems.
It does, like, I don't even like. I think that Respawn game is probably just a concept at this point.
Yeah.
You know. So go ahead.
And a lot can happen between now and the release. So I am hesitant to get excited about these games right now. The last one I was excited about fell through, and I know that's because of the Star Wars property changing hands. But you just don't know what's going to come up, and so I am not super hype for a game that's 2 years away that there's barely anything about
it's hard to like. E3 to me is about hype, and you know, I made the prediction about Ubisoft that we weren't going to see any games in their presentation that weren't going to be released by next year's E3, and I just think that's the way that you have to do it. Like, if you want people, here's a time where everyone's eyes are on you. You want people to get excited about your content. Give us something to get excited about. And me, like, watching some dude drawing on a tablet some like intergalactic scene is not the thing that's going to make me feel like, oh, there's some really awesome Star Wars stuff, you know, here on the horizon. And I think a lot of us, like even you as a big Star Wars fan, were kind of left disappointed by the original Battlefront because of the stuff that it lacked. And so even with the Battlefront 2 being around the corner, or extra content for Battlefront, with a Battlefront, I think it's a Battlefield, Battlefront 2, or a Battlefront with extra content coming out, like, it's just really hard to get excited about any of it. And they really didn't just hand us anything to get excited about either.
Yeah, when they lumped all those games together, my notes are real funny. I list all these Star Wars Battlefront, Visceral, and Respawn, and then I didn't write anything because there was nothing to write.
Yeah. I don't even, like I said, I don't even have it in my rundown. Another thing, my prediction didn't come true. I predicted that we were going to see a digital only like major release, and I was hoping we'd get to see something about a Mass Effect kind of like a trilogy that remastered, kind of all released on one disc or something like that. While we're here, let's jump into the Mass Effect Andromeda stuff. Again, they didn't really show a whole lot for a game that's supposed to be here fairly soon, you know, and I felt like EA probably should have learned 2 years ago that, like, we don't give a crap about these dev diaries that you're doing.
Yes.
Like, we don't want to see like the little Easter eggs of concept art in the background, or we don't want to look over some guy's shoulder as he's coding. Like, just show us the game, show us something in the game. And so I felt like the Mass Effect Andromeda stuff was a little underwhelming as well. And they really tried to emphasize that point of, like, this is a reset in this game. Like, you don't need to know anything about the original trilogy, and I think that's why they kind of decided not to bring that over, bring the Mass Effect trilogy over.
No, I am intrigued with the concept. I like that idea of you are the alien coming into the galaxy. I think that has a lot of possibility in storytelling. That can be really cool. Mm-hmm. So how soon is this game supposed to be here? Do you know?
I felt like it was supposed to be either late this year or early next year. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And maybe that's changed since the last time, but
they didn't tell us.
Yeah. I know we want to talk about Titanfall. I want to save the Titanfall stuff to the end because I think we both have some really good stuff to say about it.
And it is the thing worth discussing.
Yeah.
It is the jewel of EA's conference.
So they showed a little bit of Madden stuff. They talked mostly about eSports within the Madden stuff. The trailer was it was a Madden trailer. They spent a whole lot of time on FIFA. Some of the things in FIFA look really interesting. They're using the Frostbite engine, which is the Battlefield engine, to do the game. And the reason I think they did that is because they're adding a narrative, like a story-driven element where you play as this fake character named Alex Hunter, who enters into the Premier League, and you're trying to advance his career.
I think they probably just need ragdoll physics for when you're faking for that yellow card.
That's right. That's right. Well, I thought that was really interesting because, see, they developed the Ignite engine for like Madden 25, FIFA 15, or FIFA 14, and so they didn't really stick with it all that long. And I think Madden's still using it, but I wouldn't be shocked if it works well moving to Frostbite in FIFA if they don't just move all their sports franchises over into it, which I think is good. Frostbite's a great engine.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like the FIFA character models have always looked a little off to me, a little odd, a little generic. But in everything that they showed, they kind of like they fleshed out the look of all the characters, and the story driven thing looks cool. I want to talk just for a second though about Peter Moore bringing Jose Marina. I don't know anything. Josie Marina or something like that. I know nothing about soccer, but so Peter Moore brings out this coach onto the stage.
Marina is the last name.
Marina
I can't
is
remember
the
the
last
first
name. Brings this coach out who coaches Peter Moore's a fan of one team. This is the coach of the rival team. And just the most awkward thing ever, starts talking about how the three greatest coaches, yada yada. Well, this guy's the fourth coach that's going to be included in FIFA, like his likeness. And so basically gives a guy a check to come over so that Peter Moore can just talk a bunch of junk about him while he's standing on stage there. And the most awkward part to me was like Peter Moore asks Marina, does your son play FIFA? He's like, yeah. He says, who does he play with? He's like, I don't know. I just know I'll wake up at 3, 4 in the morning from all the noise he's making. He's like, well, does he play Ultimate Team? And Marina's like, yeah, I have control over that debit card. He's like, well, sir, we've all seen your contract. We know you've got that Ultimate Team money.